Well, hello.
So you want to eat another cookie?
Hello everyone on Zoom, and hello everybody here. Thank you so much for being here this morning. My name is Keisha. I own Immediately by Keisha, professional organizing and Matterports. We had our Matterport under Manifest Media, so if you were here like years ago, my husband did a Zoom presentation in like 2021. It was all like clunky, weird, first Zoom we ever did. Yeah, some people remember, some people don't, but it was formerly Manifest Media, but we've all just kind of morphed it into Immediately, which is my new business. So yeah, a little about me. I am a Wenatchee native. I lived here my whole entire life. I love it so much. I used to be a lender back in the day. Glad to not be a lender anymore, but I still love real estate and I still love to be a part of it. So Matterport allows me to still be a part of it. And then I've added professional organizing, which is just a whole nother level of service to help people in such a unique way. So yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, you need that, Rose.
we all need a little professional organizing. So I offer professional organizing services in large and small scale. So if it's as small as underneath your kitchen sink, just you lie, cool. If you need your whole entire house, I'd love to help you. I also offer that same service for offices. So it's commercial and residential. And then Matterport virtual tours. I brought my Pro 2 camera over there. We love it. We've had it for a few years. We've been doing Matterport since 2021. And I absolutely love doing them. They're so fun. And Matterport's added some really cool features, which is really cool. We'll get into that. And then packing services, super kind of off the wall, but kind of goes really well with organizing. I'm just packing. I'm not moving. I will not be like taking boxes anywhere. I do own a truck, so I mean, good, but not something I want to do. So yeah, there is that. All right. So what does a professional organizer do and how do they help your clients? So professional organizing, right? We all need a little help getting stuff going. We all have a room, we're at a closet, that place, and we're like, I gotta work on that room. But do we ever make time? No, not necessarily, right? So you hire somebody to come in and make the time for you and say, let's get this done, let's get this organized, and let's get this out of the way. When you're selling your house, you're probably moving, right? Like when you sell, you gotta move, you gotta pack all your stuff and get it out of there. So why pack all the stuff you don't want? Good time to go through it all and get rid of what you don't need. Especially if you're going into a smaller home, right? We got to declutter, we got to downsize, we got to get rid of stuff. So I can help do all of those things. Helps reduce stress, all the things, because moving and real estate is very stressful. Here's some recent projects I've done. This project, it doesn't even show half of it. I actually helped move my husband's work. So for Shorts Restoration, we moved offices and I facilitated the entire move and the entire restructuring of their shop, which was a lot of work, way more work than I was prepared for one person. I actually cleaned every single piece of equipment, inventoried all of it, and organized it all, obviously. So it's a huge project. Like, oh my goodness, that was way more than I was expecting. It took me quite a long time, but it was good.
And they paid you well.
They did pay me well, and that was very good. And I learned a lot. That was my first commercial project that I did, and so I learned a ton from doing that project. Which was really fun. And then I've done some residential, cabinets and closets and things like that.
Can I ask you a question? How do you look at commercial? Like, what do you do?
Yeah,
you commercial. Look at the flow?
Yeah.
The flow?
Yeah, the flow. Yeah. So they ended up moving. So they were in a really small shop, like 1 bay or 2 bay, tiny little 1,000 square foot shop. And they moved to a 4,000 square foot shop. So they opened up a ton of space. How they fit all of this stuff in that tiny little shop, I have no idea. I'm like, where was even all this stuff? I don't even understand. It just kept coming. I'm like, okay, no more stuff, guys. So yeah, it was just like the flow for them, a bigger space. So they were like, where do we put everything? I'm like, well, I will tell you exactly where to put everything. I think equipment should go right by the garage door, right? Get guys in, they load up their equipment, unload it, all things, right? So just flow and ease of use. These cabinets here were all of their backstock, extra fasteners, tape, like that kind of, like they also do restoration. So they do repairs and things like that. So that's kind of their backstock of paint or caulking, those kinds of things. And I all categorized it by electrical, painting, drywall, fasteners, all the things. So yeah, this is a huge project, but commercial definitely gets in the weeds for sure, because it can be really big or smaller. Maybe it's just the office, maybe it's just the shop, or yeah. So super fun, really hard, but good. So yeah, that's organizing. It's broad, right? Organizing is so huge and it can be so little and so small. Yeah.
Have you ever been to the Container Store in South Center?
I haven't, but I am a
Have you
vendor.
guys been there? Yeah, I have for your guys. It's the most amazing. You just walk in and it's just containers of the just cute.
Oh, they have so many
You
people.
have to go.
I'm actually a vendor for their, I'm like a wholesaler, cause you
Yeah.
can sign up for that as an
Oh my
organizer,
God.
so I can sell
Nice.
them,
It's
the
so
containers
fun.
wholesale, which is really cool.
Mhm.
So yeah, we'll get into Matterport now, which I feel like is the most beneficial for you guys as listing agents or agents in general. Matterports are awesome. Lots of agents in your office have used me in the past to create scans for them. Have you all seen a Matterport scan? No,
I've never.
you have not. Okay.
Oh, they're so cool.
Oh, I don't have it. I was gonna do it on my iPad. I can show you guys, after I can show you guys an example of one, because they're really cool. So it's 4K, the camera spins in a circle, so I have it on a tripod. I don't have it on right now, but I would set this camera wherever we want the scan to start, and it spins all the way around and captures a 3D photo of the space, and you just keep walking throughout the house. And how I do the scans is as if I was walking through the house as somebody looking at the house. So I start at the front door, and then I work my way through the living room and kitchen and all around and all the rooms.
Everybody's wearing cute stuff.
It's the dress day.
It's freaking hot.
It's so hot. Yeah, we get, it's great.
Like covered in sweat.
Back, right? Yeah, so the camera goes in 3D, and then I upload all the points on the scan. So it can, depending on how big the property is, will depend on how many scans there are. But anyway, it gets uploaded to Matterport, and then they put it all together and they create a dollhouse and a showcase for the scan, which is really cool. I'll show you guys in a minute.
Can you do land?
Land is hard because of sunlight.
I see.
Yeah, so sunlight can distort it a little bit. I can do outside. I have done some outside stuff. We haven't tried land, but that could be a really cool, we could try it. And if it works, awesome. And if it doesn't, we tried it, right? And then of course with out-of-state buyers, Matterports are great because it's a virtual exact twin of whatever property. There's no distortion, there's no fish camera lens, you can't make it look bigger than it is. It is the size that it is. So less wasted showings for you guys, right? Not taking up your whole weekend showing people homes that they don't really love or doesn't fit what they want. You can't hide anything with that camera. I can't edit it in any way. It is what it is. So the house presents as the house is, right? And then we can do listing photos, but pretty much just the inside, because the outside, the sun can distort the image. But this is some examples of the listing photos that can
Are you
be
just a photographer?
It's very nice.
I don't take photography. It's from the Matterport camera. So that's the listing photos come from the Matterport itself. And I can't edit them in any way. This is how they come from Matterport. So they actually export from Matterport. They put a little, I think maybe a tiny little filter type thing on it, but they still are very beautiful. This was one I did like a year or two ago. And Matterport for rentals, man, this is an untapped market. This is a really cool market. So if you were in here when I was telling Russ how I went up and did those condos up in Manson, they actually have it listed on their rental website as a walkthrough option. So with our Matterports, we offer 3 months of hosting the Matterport, and then you can pay for us to continue to host it. Because we have to host it through the Matterport service. And so we host it for you, and then you can just pay us, because they want to keep it indefinitely, right? Because this is a listing they're going to have forever, hopefully, right? So they have it listed on their rental website, so people can actually walk through the space that they're going to stay, which I think is such a cool thing. So that's for short-term rentals, but long-term rentals, you can have your Matterport, and you can actually have a free Matterport account and host your own, if you're just a landlord who has one unit or whatever, I can transfer it to them and they own it and they can have it. They can't share it publicly. If they want to share it publicly, we can continue to host it. But if they want to keep it privately for themselves to have as a, digital footprint of this is what the unit looked like before you moved in here. So I think Matterport for rentals is like such a cool untapped market. So if you are a landlord yourself, or somebody who's a landlord, or you have clients that are, such a cool market that we can tap into. They also come with a 2D,
So I am a landlord, but on the bigger picture, I use Melissa Bohart at Herring. She's got 1,200 units. And I think you should call her, and my name is Skip Hughes, and just say Skip mentioned that I could help you with marketing, and you might just want to give her that, your meeting.
Absolutely, yeah, I'll get her contact info from you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then within the tour, we can create tags. So tags can be literally anything. Let's say, so those condos up in Chelan, for example, they have outdoor heaters. And they may be missed as they're walking through the tour because, oh my gosh, the view, right? They're not looking at the wall behind them, right? But they're looking at the view, but I added a tag. And you can see it when you turn around, there's a tag and they're like, oh, what's that little button? And you can click on it and it'll say outdoor heaters. And I can add in cutesy little notes or whatever, that, enjoy I think I said like, enjoy this patio all year round with outdoor heaters or something like that. Because when I was talking to the owner, she was like, I want off-season rentals. So I was like, okay. So I can put tags that kind of, bring in the off-season rentals. 2D property reports. This kind of plays in with the rental situation. So it creates a 2D model of the home. This is exactly from the scan. It is so accurate. You can take measurements from this. That's how accurate it is. My husband's work also uses this. They use Matterport in this platform to use it for their repairs. And then they also present it to insurance companies as well. So anyway, the 2D floor plan is super accurate. It can be edited. Each floor has its own plan. So this is actually a 3-story home. You can see on the bottom there, it's kind of small, but it shows you the total square footage and then the square footage for that space. So say you have a rental and you're like, I know I want to put carpet in that when those people move out. But now you have to wait till they move out, right? To measure the carpet and all the things. Well, now you have this. And you can give this to your contractor and say, here you go, here's the floor plan. These are the rooms I want done. And they can measure it, have it ready, and bam, you can flip your rental in a week versus a month or 2 or however long it takes, right? And then there's ability to edit this entire plan, to change the names of stuff. Like this house has this huge hallway here. So that had to be edited a little bit, but it's totally editable. Actually, I did one for Sydney. I did a floor plan for her a while back. Here's the tags. So this is exactly what I was talking about. Those tags there. Yeah, and up above that. So they had a fireplace and then they have the heaters up above. And then that unit also had a full-size washer and dryer. So for closets and small little rooms, if the door's not open, we can't go in there in a Matterport. Like it has to be open the whole time. Well, this door, if it was open, you couldn't go to the bathroom. It wouldn't work, right? So I just tagged. There's a full-size washer and dryer. What a cool amenity. You're on vacation. Last thing you want to do when you get home is do a bunch of laundry, right? So add a context for literally anything. And then there's plugins. My favorite plugin, and these are new, which are so cool, is the business card. Oh, it's so cool. So it actually collapses to the side and there'll just be a little white bar right here. And when you hover over it, it will open up your business card. Of course, this is my business card, but I can add any information, photos, links to all social media sites, all websites, anything. Really, there's tons of information you can put here. And I just think that's such a cool plugin. Compass, pretty self-explanatory. Mini map is just a mini version of the dollhouse, which is the complete scan. And then quickly you could add in like videos or a link to your listing or whatnot. Here's some options for some Matterport add-ons. These are very next level. These would be for engineers, insurance companies. You can add it to Google Maps. There's a VRBO 360 thing. There's all sorts of different add-ons. A lot of these cost extra, but if you're interested, we could talk about those later. But there's a lot of different formats and things that we can use for that. And then to get into packing, who likes to pack their house? Nobody really wants to pack their own house, right? And so you have the funds and the budget to hire somebody to come do it for you. How awesome is that, right? And then I can add organizing on top of that to clutter, get rid of, purge, let it go, remove new beginnings, new chapters, right? We need to make space for new beginnings and new chapters. So, pretty cool. So anyway, and then a packer would go buy all the stuff, right? So nobody has to go out and get their own boxes and bubble wrap and all the things. It's all just, I go out and buy it all and all the things. So, yeah. And then here's my pricing. It's also on these sheets in front of you. We don't really need to get into it. You can see it and read it. And if you have any questions, I'd love to answer them.
Well, my parents need this.
A lot.
Pulled it out of the phone.
Yeah.
So, it's probably hard for you to say how long it would take you for like the organizing?
Yeah, it just depends.
just.
So I offer a free consultation.
Mhm.
So if somebody is interested in my services and they're like, how much does it cost? I'm like, I don't know. How much stuff do you have? What are we doing? Right? What's the level that you need?
Yeah.
So it ranges to about, it's like an average of about $65 an hour, but it just depends. Like I'm
Yeah.
super open to working with any budget,
Mhm.
because I don't want somebody to do it because they can't afford it. I want
Yeah.
to be able to help people. Of course I want to make money too, but if I can help
Yeah.
somebody who
Just
really
gotta
needs
get your
help.
foot in the door.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I helped a couple up Sunny Slope area. They are getting older and the wife has some health issues and she's like, oh, we gotta do this for the kids.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't want my kids to have to go through
Oh.
all this stuff. And so I helped her go through some stuff and there's some more stuff that we can do. And so we'll do more over time, but yeah, that, we can do it piece by piece too. It doesn't have to be all, and it can be very overwhelming to do at once.
Yeah.
So, yeah, once you get everything out, it's like, oh shit, everything's on the floor now. What do I do? And that's kind of where everybody kind of stops. You get everything out and you're all gung ho about it. You're like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. And now it's all on the floor and you're like, so I'm like, I'm that coach that's like, okay, let's keep going. We're at the top of the mountain now. It's all, it's all downhill from here. But it gets scary to see it all. It's very overwhelming and very tiring. So, and emotionally overwhelming as well on top of all of that. So, yeah. Sorry, the long-winded answer to that question.
No, it's great. I came in late, so you might have already said this, but I know because you dropped off your business cards for me a few months ago.
Yeah.
Now whenever I get like a new buyer client, I mean, obviously this works for sellers too, but for buyer client, depending on like, I read their personality, like I see their stuff. And I even throw this in as like, if you wanted this as a closing gift, because you're moving into a new house. And if you just have a whole bunch of boxes full of crap you want in this closet or bedroom,
Yeah.
but you don't know how to make it look pretty, I got a good closing gift for you.
Yeah, that's a great closing gift idea. I didn't even think about a closing gift. And I also don't do the organizing or the only type of organizing, which is like bins and organizers and blah, blah, blah. That's like, it's so expensive so fast. And so some people think it's inaccessible for them to do organizing. They're like, well, I can't afford $400 for all new bins and blah, blah, blah. You don't have to do that. I've been organizing my whole life. I used to do this for fun. Literally, I was 5 years old. I'd be like taking out all my granny's like stuff in her cabinets, and I'm like, oh, that's my life. Like just enjoying organizing all of her stuff. I'll make it work with what you have. If you don't have stuff, that's fine. We don't have to do all the bins and it be aesthetically pleasing for Instagram. Like that's not the kind of organizer I can be. Like that's super fun. I'm doing that tomorrow for one of my clients in Leavenworth, but it doesn't have to be that, So that can eat a lot of the budget. So I'm like, okay, if that doesn't fit in the budget, then it doesn't fit in the budget. And we'll just work with what you have. We'll use cardboard boxes or we'll, label. We got a label maker, like we can label our hearts away,
I
right?
love a label maker.
Yeah.
I got one as a gift from like so many friends when I was younger.
Yeah. Go down labeler. Yeah, super fun.
You understand, right? You fully
Things
understand.
you, right?
I know you, doesn't mean I understand it.
That's fine.
You did a great job.
Thank
I mean,
you.
that's a very needed
Mhm.
deal. I hate that stuff,
Yeah.
but your husband, I'd like to meet him and
see what I'm
give him,
Yeah, I wanna go.
Is he a COCD or is he not?
It's not neat. He is not
See,
neat
you guys are a
whatsoever.
perfect match.
But we even each other out. I am neat and I'm organized. I don't have an Instagram worthy house either. I don't do all the bins and things necessarily. I have some, but I'm not like a crazy person, right? Like I am still a human being who is a little messy at times, but I have systems that work for me
That's great.
in my home because bins and organizers may not work for someone. Maybe they're like, I need a color coded system, or maybe like they need it minimal, or I don't know, whatever works for them. And I talk to them at that consultation, like, what do you feel like would work for you? I don't want to create these systems that are like, this is too much, right? Having all containers and bins and blah, 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 that would be so overwhelming. You're like, oh my God, just another task.
And then it's pretty, and then you're like, well, shit, now I have to keep it pretty all the time.
And then it's overwhelming. But then I can also do maintenance organizing. So I can come back in 6 months and be like, how we doing? Is it working out? Is it not? Do we need to adjust?
Good job.
So yeah, I can always come back and reevaluate, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Any other questions?
How busy are you? Are you booked up for a week, month?
I am booked out for the rest of this week for sure. And I was waiting to do this presentation because I kind of figured I'd get a little busy with Matterport. So my schedule's pretty open as far as Matterports go and organizing. I teach yoga as well, Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays in the morning. But other than that, I don't have a full-time job. This is my full-time job. So my schedule's pretty open, and available. I'm willing to travel anywhere really around here. I mean, I don't want to drive to like Seattle or anything, but
Yeah.
I'll drive. I mean, I've done one in Ephrata, I've done plenty in Chelan and Manson, Leavenworth, done tons of Leavenworth. So yeah.
Yeah, that's
If you guys want to see a Matterport, I can show you one really quick.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
So.
Do you mind if I just like,
Letting you do stuff.
okay,
Yeah,
cool.
no,
I was like, do you mind if I just hop
Actually,
in?
got used to anybody
People
knowing how to do technician.
Person, it's like you push the button here. You can just drag that black thing up, just.
Oh, this out of the way, okay.
Oh, no, hit the. yeah,
Sorry, didn't mean to
and
do
then
that.
Just click that. Click. Resume share.
It's not in the normal spot because it's a Mac computer. There you go.
And then
Yeah.
just kind of like grab it and move it up. Click and hold and then up. Aha. Get out.
Okay, I do have a Mac computer, but I suck at using it. My husband is way better at it than me. Okay. It's like one of those weird passwords that they make for.
I have to tell you guys my password story in the meantime. It's the dumbest thing. So Ashley was a real bad kid. Yeah, I was.
Actually, no, I literally found
She
that
heard
this
all the
weekend.
stories last week and I was a horrid kid. So I had to go to like court in Waterville, but I thought I was so cool. So I memorized my case number for court and I thought that was the coolest thing. So I memorized it and it's been my password for like 20 years.
You should get
Tattoos. That's my case.
Put it right here.
037-0012. Tell everybody. Nobody's gonna remember that. It's not gonna get hacked. It's, yeah.
Okay,
So.
all right, so I got a Matterport put up. And I want to show you the whole start because it's so fun. So I'll press play. Yeah, so this is the Sydney. Yes,
This is your, right there?
Yep.
yep.
Is Sydney?
So Sydney had me come up and do this for her.
Awesome.
This is, and I love that Lake Chelan thing, by the way. I love it. It's so cool. I love it.
Yeah.
So as you can see, I start the Matterport in the front. And so you just hold the screen. Whoops. No. Didn't want to do that yet. Stop it.
There we go. Wow, what
That's awesome,
beautiful
man.
unit.
So gorgeous. So gorgeous. Okay, so anyway, I always start my scans in the front door. Like, where else are you gonna start scanning? So it's gotta start in the front door. And then you'll see these little circles on the ground, and those are all my scan points. So every spot that I put the camera throughout the scan. And if I send you a matter, if you get one for me and I send you one, and you're like, I do not like that point. So I can always take it off. So anyway, you just kind of walk through. I wanted to come over here first and show you this tag. So again, there's the tag for the washer and dryer thing. And they have little symbols now. They didn't have symbols before. It was just a circle thing, but now they have little symbols and I've been playing going wild with the symbols because they're so fun. And I did have a question and I had a client ask me, can you take the camera out of the mirrors? I cannot edit these in really any way. There's really not a whole lot I can do with them. So I try my best to avoid mirrors because, yeah, the camera looks dumb in the mirror, but like in this situation, I had no choice, right?
It's kind of blended in. I
Yeah,
didn't even notice.
yeah, so
Yeah.
if that's a question that you have, I mean, you wouldn't have it unless you saw it, but yeah, not something I can do unfortunately. But in bathrooms, I really try to, you'll see here in this bathroom, I really try to make sure the camera is positioned so it's not right in front of the vanity. And so you can still, you're not distracted by the camera in the mirror. You're looking at the beauty of these units because they're so stunning, so cool. Keep going. There's a couple more tags here. These units are so cool. I'm sure you've all seen them. Matterport has this other thing. It's called a guided tour, and I didn't put on my presentation because Kane and I are still kind of figuring it out, but we can essentially make a video of the tour with Matterport. So it's a really cool thing. Like I said, we're still playing with it. It's a very new thing that they've added on. start playing with it a little bit. We can like pan the camera. It's really fun and really cool. We actually started doing one for this unit. We're like, wait, this is live. Like we should just go to like one that we weren't using. But it turned out really cool. So anyway, you just kind of pop around, pop on through. I love this bathroom, by the way. If any of you haven't seen, like this point right here was like my favorite of the whole thing. I'm like, showstopper. And the toilet thing, because the gal was like, most people think it's a double shower. So I was like, well, I gotta say that it's a toilet then. So yeah, anyway, I'll show you what it looks like outside. Let's go outside.
I know.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
Well, that sucks.
So here's the view. So this day, the sun was pretty intense this day. So I couldn't go out on the deck where the sun was like shining, but I just tried to find as much shade as I could find. This was about as far as I could go for this unit. But again, you can still see how, of course, stunning, beautiful, amazing that it is. And you can see the tag up here for the heater. You can click on it and
That's great.
yeah. So this is what outside looks like. Yeah. So this is what the fan looks like.
I know, right? Look at
How can I
that.
get like on those listings? How can I get that access to, like I have a site, a website through Privity for my personal,
Like to put the Matterports on there?
on my team?
Yeah, so I send you a link. So Sydney knows. So I send an email with 4 links. There's the regular link, the MLS link, and then there's 2 embed links. So an MLS link and a regular embed link. And you just input them in. I don't really know what it looks like on your guys' end as far as where you put those. I don't know. That's not a question for me. But I send you all those links and I do make them public. So if your links aren't working, it's because I haven't set it as public.
Could you
And
send me all that? If you didn't, maybe you did.
yeah, I can definitely send it to you.
Desiree is with me a lot too.
Oh,
She's
yeah,
working with this.
yeah, yes. Oh, this Matterport specifically, or?
Yeah, I'll leave send you stuff.
Oh, yeah, I sent Bridget has all of it up there. She has all the links to everything. Sydney has this one. So anyway, Bridget has all the links, but I can send them to you as well. Yeah,
great.
yeah, they're super easy to send over.
We're in cahoots together.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I did, so I don't know.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah. You paid for this one, I know, for sure. Yeah, so Sydney technically owns this one. And they did pay for, so they paid for the hosting for the year. So this will stay up until next June and then I'll contact them and say, hey, do you guys want to do another year?
You paid for the year?
Scott.
They did, I think.
Because
Yeah,
they're hosting it for the rental.
yeah, for the rental. So, it's $60 per scan per year, or it's $7.50 a month per scan.
And
So,
how does it work with social media, the links that you create?
ooh, that's a great question. I don't know.
Seems like you want to press this on social media.
Yeah, you would. I don't know. Yeah, that's a really great, I mean, it would just be a link to your listing and it would take them to your listing and it would show up there. Because the scan would be associated with the listing.
I wonder if there's a way to bypass the listing
Yeah,
and just get this.
I think you would just be able to put the link that I send you on like your, you know how like on Instagram stories or whatever, you can add a link. I think you just put it in there and then we can do the guided tour. I think that you can export and use and like have it on your phone and just upload it that way.
Yeah.
Like on your stories or make a reel or whatever with it. So that's a really great question. I'll look more into the social media thing because yeah, definitely big on social media. And these are so good. I love Matterport.
One of the things I've learned about real estate brokers in 3 decades is that they like the path of least resistance, generally speaking.
Yeah.
And so, for example, there's a guy that does really good aerial drone videos and really good photography, but he doesn't do the next step. He doesn't edit and produce or package any like 30-second, 60-second reels of any kind.
Mhm.
So if he did that, which I talked to another guy and now they're starting to do that, that just keeps it so much easier for real estate brokers to pay you.
Right,
Because what happens is you'll pay for a drone video and then it'll just sit in your inbox.
right.
And you don't know how to like edit it or produce it or,
And the amount of time to do all that, yeah,
Yeah,
it takes
so
a lot of time. Yeah,
there's probably software and, I'm sure there is software, but
right.
if I told this to a photographer, so it's something just as an idea, is if you did that for me, I would never not use you.
Right. So I can show you a
You just
little,
have to make my life simpler.
I kind of want to show you guys the video thing that I was talking about. I don't know what.
Social media is such a powerful tool. for us.
Mhm.
That to make that friendly that way would be. And if you did that, like if you did that for me and I was your business consultant, I would say, hey, I'll do that for you, Russ. You pay me. And you would just leave your contact information somewhere on it. I'd be totally cool with that.
Okay, so this is let's see if this is it. Let's see. So this is kind of an example of what that panning thing can do. So these are ones Matterport has created. It's just giving examples of what you can do. But I can do these. So I can create these, and I can create it in any of the rooms. I can do the whole house. They get long, so you don't necessarily want to do the entire house necessarily, but maybe there's a really cool spot.
That's what I'm saying.
Or-
You get a drone video and it's 5 minutes long and it's every angle.
Right.
So it's that editing time to make that into a 30 or 60-second
Yeah.
and then add music to it, make it pop. That's to me worth it. I'm just thinking for myself
Yeah.
personally, but I think I'm not alone.
Yeah.
I'd pay for that, like, make my life easier, faster.
Yeah. And when I was saying the dollhouse view, by the way, I just wanted to show you guys this dollhouse. This is the dollhouse view.
That's fun.
So it literally looks like a doll. This is a cool listing.
Can you just click into any room?
Yeah. Oh, this is a photo of it, but
Okay.
when you go here,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
so you can, it'll go into the start point, but you can actually pull it back out. So you can click this down here and go to the dollhouse.
I like that.
Yeah, and there's that business card. I forgot this is the one that I did it on. So it hides, or they can hover over and it'll pop up. And then they can click the links within, and within the dollhouse. So yeah, you can go to the dollhouse view. You can even view the floor plan. So it'll go to the floor plan. There's several floors, so it does each floor, or you can explore the 3D space, which is going through each of the points. Yeah, this is a really cool listing. It's over in Wenatchee, Sunny Slope area. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, this is that listing photo that I showed you right here. So, yeah. Anyway, that's it. That's Matterport. So fun. Love it.
Well, I should have a listing in 2 weeks and this would be fun, so.
Sweet. Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah, so you guys have my card. You can text, email, call, whatever form of communication you like to do. I am on Instagram and Facebook as well, so you can message me in those spaces. Neatly by Keisha on both. I think I'm the only one. Just don't search just Keisha because you never know who you're gonna find on that, but Neatly by Keisha. Yeah, it's on that flyer right there.
Name too.
Oh, I love it. I know.
Are you leaving those cards here?
Yes, yeah, I'll leave all my cards here, so if you have anybody you want to hand them out to, I have plenty more cards if you want a stack for yourself, I can definitely get you a stack. Yeah. Well, thank you guys again.
Good job.
Thank you so much. I was very nervous, but yeah, thank you guys. You did a good job.
You did not seem nervous.
Yeah, you
had
did
the
great.
shitty voice. and I was like, huh.
Well, I do teach on a regular basis, so I do stand in front of a bunch of people and out there all the time. Oh, yes, thank you.
How's your Bruce? Is yours? Me and Nicole tried to play volleyball like last week and your Bruce is a lot worse than mine.
I know. I
I tried
did
to
over
play
the
the game
weekend.
yesterday. and it was-
I also had like all those popped blood vessels. I looked like I was like a druggie. I hit my arms a lot this last weekend.
Saying that out loud.
That's fine.
Oh,
Well, Keisha, if you want to stay, you are welcome to, and if not, that is fine too.
Yeah, I like how you like printed on like such like
Mhm.
pretty paper. You did a great job.
A pan and.
I didn't realize our video was
It
off.
was not working last night.
Hi, Nicole.
but it worked.
Oh, everybody else's camera is off too. All right, well, hello, everybody. Okay,
Oh, there you go. Well, good, because I was.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
I did.
that is totally fine. So, go away.
I need to look more into that social media thing.
I didn't feel too soon.
Yeah.
I'm organized.
Are you in town or are you in Matthew? You're in Chile.
Oh, here's your box of cards. You probably don't want to.
Oh, yeah.
A million.
Such a cute one. They have the cute, okay, this is kind of the cute things. They like change their boxes like all the time. It's really cute. They use like local art and blah, 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 all the things.
Thank you for you, and thank you for cookies.
Yeah. All the stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how
That
much.
is
is
what's
I don't know, so business cards feel so awkward to me, but I try.
Thank you for the protein pop.
Yeah.
Is that what we're telling us?
See, this is the conversation. Perception of reality is real.
Yes.
Cooking pucks or cookies, it's the same. It's the same. What are you gonna do?
Russ, do you want me to put anything up on the screen or are you just talking about stuff? Just talking about things.
Yeah, I
Okay.
actually had a, I thought. I said this week, so I was.
Yeah, oh, that's good. Welcome. That's fine.
I've never, like I said, I'm organizing authority.
Yeah,
Never been a-
it's fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah. So.
Sweet. Where do you want to sit? Here.
I'm really gonna interview those three things.
You're gonna be standing up. Yeah, you're gonna be standing. I'll just,
Am I on Zoom yet?
yeah,
Okay.
you're
How
just,
many have we got on Zoom?
we have Brooke and Yesenia and
Any
Naomi
colleagues?
and a phone number.
Yeah.
Good. Sarah? I didn't hear you. Sorry. That was a joke. I missed it.
I said in the FBI, police, they sent out the link on Facebook.
Ah.
I said to call Kelly to get the link.
Well, we have somebody that's just a phone number. So,
There you go. Probably.
Aaron, do you want a cookie?
Might be Katrina.
Okay.
Hey. Well, I haven't seen you in a minute. I'm busy. All right. So one of the things that I thought would be appropriate in July is an example of real life stepping forward into the unknown. Like you, and what I mean by that is, you know, we have a lot of real estate agents. There's a million ways to make money in this business. There's no wrong way, right way. That's the cool thing about real estate, right? It's from being a referring agent to a specialist in first-time home buyers to I'm only gonna sell apartment buildings to. There's 1,000 ways to do this game, right? And in our particular world of North Central Washington, we have many layers of opportunity from, I'm gonna specialize in a Bavarian village. To the past, I'm gonna do that. Or I'm only gonna do Chelan, or I'm only gonna do first-time home buyers in Wenatchee and East Wenatchee. But here's the question that I have. Why is it, and this is just something that's always plagued me. It's maybe not plagues right where it's like a little burr in my side, like, and I'll give you a little history lesson. In 2001, I was the president of Wenatchee Association of Realtors, which was the first person ever, I think, in history to that point, not from Wenatchee, East Wenatchee or Leavenworth. Probably the last person.
Like Donald Trump.
I was a one-term president. I helped change the name to North Central Washington because I said the very name was discriminatory. Wenatchee, when you're asking everybody to pay from all over North Central Washington, so that was something I did. The reason I did that is I thought it would be easy to explain to everyone why they should take advantage of every opportunity in North Central Washington simultaneously, because we're not big enough to specialize for most people. There are some very elite niches that people have mastered for sure. But if you look at the masses of the 400 agents or so, very few of them are doing enough business, in my opinion, to specialize. If you say, I'm only gonna do first-time home buyers, okay. Well, when the rates go from 2.8 to 7 and the prices don't come down, what happened to your business? In 2008, when I was selling about a deal a day, thinking I was all that in a bag of chips. And then the housing market collapsed, and just to unpack that a little bit, it meant that no banks loaned any money. And nobody trusted an appraiser because they were in cahoots with the realtors and the mortgage brokers. We were all in this dance together to just make our pockets rich and at the consumer. So it was like, there's no banks there. 80% of them are out of business. Have you ever heard of the too big to fail? That was Obama. That was the Obama program called TARP, Toxic Asset Relief Program, that basically funded the big banks and rewarded them and let them write off the bad loans. So they bought everybody else's loans, wrote them off, and then got paid by the feds. Yeah, right, wrong, or indifferent. That's what happened, right? So for a while, if you tried to if you were selling houses, you were out of business. Like for a couple of years, there was no houses. I think it was something like, Skip could probably tell me, he's like 80-90% of people in the United States were underwater. There was entire subdivisions in Las Vegas that they just walked away from, and they're all brand new houses. And then you had the next fallout, like a nuclear winter. And that brand new house just sold for $100,000. And 2 days ago, I just spent $700,000. I'm done making my payments. That's called voluntary foreclosure. So loan modifications. Skip did about 15 of them. So whatever, right? Saved
About 40 of them.
40 of them, yeah. Right, so it was this weird, if you didn't know what a loan modification was, you were out of business. If you had a house, if you didn't know what a loan modification was, you lost your house. It was that wild. Well, I got into land because the land didn't need a bank. We used owner financing. So I got into some people that could do that. So if I wouldn't have been willing to be flexible, adaptable, and resourceful, I would have been out of business. And I had parents that were dependents, kids that were dependents, ex-wife that was dependent, girlfriends that were dependent. There's a lot of dependents around me, agents that were dependent, employees that were dependent. So I had to make some I had to make some of that ice cream out of horse manure, as they say. And that's my point. Like even in 2001, and then when we did this 6 years ago, another attempt at saying to everybody, it's not hard. It's intimidating for sure. If you didn't know what a loan mod was, the first one Skip did probably was like,
Rocking the curve.
yeah, it's just, it's like the first public speech you'll ever give. It sucks. The 100th is easier. Working out at the gym, once you're on the workout train, there's no better feeling. But if you're not on the workout train, it's hard to get on the train. It's going really fast. It's easy to get off. You just jump off the workout train, right? And it's the same for everything else. So what I wanted to say is, I'm super stoked and proud of everybody that showed up. There's 58 agents, I think we have, or 60, something like that right now. I think 15 or so came to the first few trainings and understood what we were doing in Chelan at Yosemite. And I think 7 or 8 were there the whole weekend. And then we did a defrag, didn't we? And it was amazing to watch what happened to you guys. It literally was like watching a little caterpillar turn into a butterfly. Because I remember Sunday morning, I said, how do you guys feel yesterday? They're like, sucked. It was immersion. We had like 300 tours in 48 hours with 4 days notice.
That's so amazing.
We went through 3.5 kegs of booze, like 2 or 3 cases of wine.
Good job to all you guys.
No.
Great job.
And and so then the funny thing, by the end of Sunday, after 300 tours, like, how you guys doing now? You're like, what's up? Like you just walk with a swagger now. Like all of a sudden, I got this shit. What's up? Why wasn't I selling Chelan the last 5 years? It's not that hard. It's not that hard. You see, we can take all of the Chelan. All of it. It's just you have to be willing to walk through that step, through that door. And then as soon as you did it, would it be fair to say, I'm gonna ask, Sarah's online, Yesenia's online, Brooke's online, and we got Justin, Nicole, Stella here that were there, and Sid's in the back. So I don't know if we're gonna, these guys are. Everyone. So I'm here we go.
Yeah, Sarah's up there.
Hi, say hi to everybody.
Hey, so we'll start with you guys then. Tell everybody, remember what I asked you that question, like what could I have said to you actually experiencing what you experienced that would have made you more likely to do it? Because it was not easy, 58, about 7 or 8 did it out of 58. And I think you all agree that, of course, everybody has other things they're doing, and it's not like there's a wrong answer or good or bad, but if you wanted, but now that you know something, Sarah, how would you explain Chelan, like the opportunity there, not just for Yosemite, but like forever, any listing, anywhere now, your confidence?
I guess I just really got strongly from you that this was not just about Yasinde and that there is an incredible opportunity to make contact with a much broader group of people. And I think that my takeaway from the weekend was that I went feeling prepared and I didn't feel prepared at all when I got there, and that you can do it. You know, you just jump in and do it. And it was an incredible experience. And Rush, you said that you thought that it would change us, and it definitely has. I'm far less intimidated by what lies ahead. And I really hope to jump into that Chelan market. And, you know, I told you I'm considering moving up there because I think that the opportunity is just huge. Um, those people, those people don't care what the rate does. Those people are going to still buy whether the election goes left or right or whatever happens. You know, it's just a different feel. And I like that we are not selling the condominium, we're selling the lifestyle, and the lifestyle is incredible. And that's kind of where I'm at.
That's awesome, sir. I mean, it's 100%. I mean, you just hit all the buzzwords. And what's funny is I said all those buzzwords. I've been saying those buzzwords for 5 years. But that's how big of an accomplishment it is for you to do what you did. I mean, if it was easy, everybody in Wenatchee that wasn't making any money or enough money would be doing it. That's what I'm. Yeah, I mean, that's a great example, Skip. So we had this published everywhere. People know me up there. They knew what we were doing. How many real estate brokers did we meet? Maybe 5, and 3 of them were my friends.
Yeah, I think one of them was there on vacation at his own, timeshare and lives in like Redmond. So like, he didn't even know about it.
So here's the beautiful thing about this. Now that you've experienced it, and I'm going to get you guys too. Now that you see that it's not a secret handshake to get there. There's no pixie dust. There's no unicorns. There's no, rubbing a genie in a bottle that pops out. None of these things are required. It just required courage to just step in and try to start talking to people. Because here's the opportunity, and I'll say this, I believe this with everything that I have and everything that I am. There's never been a better time to be in real estate and get in real estate for the first time than right now in history. At least the 34 years that I've been doing. And the reason is because there was nobody there for free beer, free food, and $25 to $30 million worth of waterfront product that was available to them to understand. Not one person showed up. Are they all rich? No, they're not. Some are. And they're the ones that called me. Why do 5% of the people do 95% of the work? Guess who called me? Up there. Who's the person up there that was called? That's right. That's right. Saturday, Rick calls me. He goes, there's a lot of people that are in this office, but they're just not here very often. I go, you know who's there, Rhett? He goes, me. I go, this is manufacturing luck.
The other thing too, is just having a serving heart means a lot.
Yeah.
Like you guys, there's more wealth of knowledge here in this company than you'll ever find anywhere. I've been around all of them. Russ, Skip, myself, like we're just here to help you guys, okay? And up there, it was so cool to see the energy. I mean, you guys, you can't buy youth. And those people that are coming up there are looking to get back to the farm. It's an important factor in life. And we were talking about it. We're like, we spent the night at Russ's. He was so helpful, just stay the night. And it was just fun. I mean, we saw it and I'm like, do that. There's nothing worse than somebody that kills the buzz in life. You know what I mean? You're just like, you guys showed up, and I mean, those people are gonna just contagious.
Yeah, and the point is that remember when I said after the second day, this is on day 2, people.
Yeah.
We have 100 days of summer left, and this is just some listings. This isn't what we're even talking. What we're talking about is so big. We're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars in deals that are going to go down in the next 6 to 12 months that nobody's asking for. Nobody in Chelan did what you guys did. Has that mindset like beauty and abundance versus scarcity and pain. Limiting beliefs or ego or insecurity, whatever the real reason is that nobody showed up, all it says is take my business to me. I mean, look, we're in a competitive industry and I do believe in abundance. I believe there's enough deals for everybody to be millionaires. So I'm not saying I'm going to win and you're going to lose. That's not how this works. But I am going to win. You can win with me. Every realtor in Chelan can win with me. But you have to want it. You have to ask for it. You have to show up. You can't be like, that's stupid. Why they only list 2? Bullshit reservation agreement. What the hell? That's Russ is always doing something weird. Like, seriously, that's what I hear. It's not even fair. I'm open, man. I don't give a shit. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I'm under indictment again by Northwest MLS for the first time in my career.
Oh my God.
And I'm going through the whole process.
Yeah, there's auditing you right now.
Yeah, there's somebody on there.
I could give a shit. Here's the thing.
thing.
Here's the thing. You getting hard over there?
Yeah,
That's
that's
gonna be
great.
We're not protein bucks. I was kidding.
Oh my gosh, when you're honest, Russ, the women laugh. Oh my God, here we go.
Yeah, right. No, it's because here's the thing. I'm working with Northwest MLS to figure out how to get the templates to understand the product and the developer and, and that's all it's about. I want to be transparent. I want to show everybody how to do something. And it's a little bit unusual because it's a scarcity driven product.
Sure.
So you have 20 condos. So it's like, well, we can't list them all. That's not what the owner wants. We don't know what they're worth. I remember asking you guys, what did I say? What could they be worth? Could they be worth 5 million in 10 years?
Yeah.
What makes them not worth 2 million today then?
Same.
You see, these are the questions that you ask yourself. Maybe I've underpriced these condos by 50%. Time will tell. I called an agent and then they said, this is kind of what you did in that marina deal, isn't it?
What is that?
It's the same person all the time. It's just different faces.
Yeah.
It's the same mindset.
Yeah.
And it's not that they're bad. I'm not attacking them. I'm very polite to everybody. I'm very open. I appreciate the call. I'd rather you call and tell me I'm a dumbass than not call me. Like Yesenia said, I said, everybody, guys, before we did the deal, I was training everybody hard, right?
Yeah.
And Yesenia, I don't even hardly even know her. I mean, she's new and she's cute, little. And she goes, I go, do I kind of sound like an ass? She goes, yeah, a little bit.
But she did say sweet, like she had a sweet voice.
No, but I loved it because she was being honest.
Yeah.
I loved it because she had the courage to tell me that because I was.
And we were like all one glass in, one, two.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a 3 to 7 beer marked work there. No, just kidding. Not really. There's no, there's no rules. It's Indian land. There's no rules. So there's no liquor for it. So it's all good. Here's the thing. 3 kegs later, no problems. No police, no problems. Why? Pura Vida, you know what that means? Pura Vida is in Costa Rica. Kind of like, hang loose. It's kind of like aloha. It's kind of like, hey, everybody's cool. Take a big, deep breath. The world's going to keep spinning. This is not that important in the grand scope. And when you're like that, there's no problem.
Right.
When you're not worried about counting whose lead is what lead. And it's like, I was kind of laughing because I get the premise in the beginning when you guys were training, you're like, well, how are we going to do this? Somebody going to have like Kmart and a ticket. And you're like whose fire is this? And I'm like, it's not going to work that way. It's more immersion therapy. And that's the abundance because in your heart of hearts now that you're done, I hope that there's enough deals for everybody. And there's going to be different levels of follow up. But I'm not talking about the condos. I want to be very clear. I'm talking about everything else. We just happen to have a buyer pool that turns over every week that is in a full-blown love affair with the area. And we just happen to be able to sell them condos and everything else. You do this right for 100 days and it's the next decade and it's not even about that. It's about taking this example of fear, throwing it through your brain and coming out with confidence. And not worrying that you don't have the answers anymore. Stop worrying about you have the right answer. Stop worrying about what you look like. Stop worrying about what you drive. Stop worrying about what you wear. I don't care. If you don't care and you just dive in, you will fail. And that's exactly what you need to do. That's the only way to come out on Sunday with that swagger, is failing. And I remember Blanca's, see on the call, Blanca, she was like, she didn't get there Saturday, so she was like a rookie and everybody else just graduated from Bud's training. They were all Navy SEALs in one day. Like, sup? And then she's like, oh my God, this is intimidating. And everybody was so nice and gracious and you all worked together. And then by the end of Sunday, it was 9,000 degrees and we're walking back and forth and she's just like a deer in headlights but then after a while, she started getting the rhythm. And by the end of the day, like 4 hours later is all it took. 4 hours later. Now she's like, hell yeah. Where there's a whip, there's a way. Let's go. Who's next? Again, nobody showed up. Nobody showed up. Nobody called. Handful. That's such a giant opportunity. Now let me ask you this, you two, and you. If they knew, like, let's take the 70 agents in Chelan that were busy with their families, fair enough. But I know their numbers, so I can see their sales. Unless they're independently wealthy or have a spouse or something and won the lotto, maybe I didn't know that. Maybe they're rich, I don't know. But most of them aren't. And that goes for all the realtors in the United States, by the way. Right now, most people are struggling. That 80-20 is now 95-5. So that means 5% are doing 95% of the work. Okay. Why weren't they there? Because I would think if I could sell it, it's in the MLS and I could go make 2.5% on $1 million. It's in my backyard. It's on the lake. It's free. I would like to go see what it is. It's hard to sell a Picasso if I've never seen one. And a Picasso is a Picasso, by God. So is waterfront. Why weren't they there? What do you think is happening to people? And it's not just, I'm not just picking on them. I'm just saying because we were there and it was free. And I spent like $10,000 on that party. Why would I do that? It was a gamble. Why would I do it? Faith, not fear. Pure faith.
And you've done it a lot.
I've been doing this for a while.
Come on, do those.
Most of you were not alive when I started in real estate.
You do those. I mean, it's really that is something you've really done a lot and you're very comfortable with it. And it's worked for you.
Well, it's still scary.
I know.
10 grand, still 10 grand.
Still 10 grand.
I can go to the casino and do all right. I mean, it's still the same thing, it's gambling. But you're right, and I appreciate the compliment. But I want to know, why do you think? Because here's the thing, we have 58 people in this and some of them are hurting. And I'm not getting through to them. And I don't know why not. I had 90. And my reasoning for being in this building is not, I can make more money in Chelan. My reason is to help people change their life, the life you want, the life you deserve, using real estate as the vehicle to do it. But I am not able to get through. I can't get the codes to them. I'm not seeing the activity that's going to lead themselves to a prosperous winter. Everything will be all right for a month or two. But I could see the math on the wall. So my question is, because I don't have the answers, now that you've experienced something that you didn't know about before, what could I say differently to inspire people to know what I think you guys now feel? More than you know, but now you feel it. Yeah. So any ideas?
Just that this is so much bigger than what we did this weekend. It's gigantic. It's, you know, I don't want to say it's not about this weekend, but that's just like the portal, you know, to contacts and to meeting people, whether they're buyers or not, but they're local people. Russ, I'm very thankful because I think it's a huge opportunity.
Yeah,
And-
no, because it's been there for 6 years.
Yeah,
Been preaching for 6 years. So I'm curious now that I'm blessed to have people that did the immersion therapy and they let the 2 days speak for itself and you engaged. I need to know what the language looks like. What do we say to everybody? Because here's the thing, if you have an abundant mindset and you truly want other people to be successful and flourish in their lives, you will not try to hide this. You will not say, ooh, I know something you don't know. Quite the opposite. You will attract, not chase. But I need the language. I need to know from your perspective. I didn't start in the last 10 years. I started in the 80s. I may be missing something.
I think most of us get stuck in our head, and so for us just to get out of the way and chill it, I think that's.
You did a good job, Bill. That was very, you did a good job. You know, I would say, I don't speak too much.
No, I love
But
it. Talk.
talk it, right? Dressed up for this.
Oh, okay, my-
Okay, I didn't wear a shirt either, by the way. I know, I'm super light. But you know what? I think you guys followed with the process. You know, we do open houses. I was told not to do, okay, for years.
What?
Us, right? You don't do those. And are they boring? Yeah, they are. Okay? But you know what? I just had one of my busiest 10 days. Okay, ever in my career. Crazy, right? But I will tell you, the boring part is where it's at. Okay, the little boring, you gotta show up. And it's not for 365 days, it's 100 days. You show up. That's what's allowed me to survive in those times. Skip showed up. He had to show up when he going through the issues he was dealing with. He had to show up, showing up. And the spirit that you guys had, I mean, that was real, right, Skip? Did you agree?
I mean, I think Jeff and I can speak from a unique position because we were a part of this, but we were like the agents that wanted to see, right? And see what you guys were doing. And I mean, I commend all of you guys. You guys did so amazing. And we're just so proud to be with you guys. And, you know, my attitude needs to change in some ways, just like everybody else's. And, you know, it was amazing. And, you know, I do have the investor mindset, and it's kind of like, you know, I am thinking seriously to see if I can buy one of those units.
Yeah, I mean, Justin, to your point, so you said you just have to get out of your own way. My question is what could I have said to you? I mean, obviously you did, but whatever I said to you would. But what, if I wanted to make it work for more people, what could I have said differently to you? Because it's easy to say, go work out. You'll feel better. Because here's the thing that I know for sure. Everybody knows what they want. Daydreaming is pretty easy. I want a Ferrari. I want a bigger house. I want 100 grand a year. I want, you know, whatever I want. I can imagine it, right? So everybody kind of knows what they want. But here's the question. Is what you're willing to sacrifice in alignment with what you want? That's the question. What are you willing to sacrifice to get it? I had a barbecue planned. Yeah, me too. I had a trip planned. Me too. I have kids. Me too. I have grandkids. Me too. But I didn't know I was gonna do this. So I was flexible, resourceful, and capable because I'm like, this doesn't happen very often. This is shoot the gap time, people. Sorry, family. Sorry, friends. Well, okay, well, I just know you. Well, if you're gonna go do that, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying you don't know what you're willing to sacrifice to get it. You're unwilling to sacrifice to get it. So that is where I come back to you, get out of your own way. To what degree does that mean? What are you willing to sacrifice to get your goal? Because there's a thing called winter. It's dark at 4 o'clock and it's cold. I have a lot of family time. If you're on deployment in the military, you go, excuse me, sir, I've got a barbecue to go to. Or if you're gonna be a Bering Sea captain and the crab fishermen, because of the government restrictions, are down to like 3 weeks a year to make your entire wage, do you tell your captain, excuse me, I have a bar mitzvah to go to on that day? I'm gonna have a boat turn around? Captain? See, those guys know what they're willing to sacrifice because they've chosen that lifestyle, whether you're a military guy or a Bering Sea captain or a real estate broker. So what could I have said to you to get you, because you did it, so I'm not really talking to you, I'm more talking about theoretically for other people that maybe when you say get out of your own way, what does that really mean to you?
Well, I think we all like to see the negatives, right? We get stuck in our heads and so plan out the negatives. What's the negative? I'm like, well, worst case scenario, I'm gonna go up this land. I get a little sunburn, get some free food, get some free drinks, make some connections. And
Let me back it up.
like worst case scenario, right?
Your wife was here and you were training with me and she was getting ready to go to something like Grenada or something for 6 months. Instead of being with her the last 3 days she was in town, you chose to do this. You knew what you were willing to sacrifice, which was time with your wife who's leaving for another country, because you decided to. And she probably felt proud for you to do that. And hey, man, if that's the case, you're lucky. It's not that way for everybody. Sometimes the hardest people are the people that love you the most. They'll say things like, you should have work-life balance. They'll say things like, I don't work to live, or I don't live to work, I work to live. They forgot about winter. So if you're in that position, you're lucky. But if you're not, you have to have some courage to kick in the door, or you're gonna be so disappointed in yourself. I've said it many times, and I'm gonna ask you guys too, because I'm gonna harp on this for a while. Because I think we're onto something cool. I think we're onto something like take the whole damn town for a long time.
I thought the visual was worth 1,000 words.
Visual of
Just of what you guys did and how you did that, and the activity was up there and the buzz, it was.
Yeah, but you were there, so you see it. I get
know,
it.
but we weren't technically part of it, you know, and I sort of drugged Jeff up there and, but seeing that was everything. I didn't drug Jeff, but I just drugged him.
I drug you, actually. That's why you stayed the night.
Just kidding.
Just kidding. So I'm talking about the people that weren't there. Because if you were there, you would have saw it, whether you participated or not, you would have saw it, you would have felt it, it was unbelievably unique. I'm trying to get to how do we help more people?
So Russ, it's so funny because open house has taught me so much, right? So everybody expects the buyer to come through. Okay, the buyer's gonna come through the open house, right? I do that for the process. Because I increase my chances, right? Of
Keeping the listing.
keeping the listing. I will wear my sellers out to the point where they fucking wanna be out of there, right? Because they told me they wanna be out of there. They signed a document.
Yeah.
They made all their plans, right?
Yeah.
So like, and trust me, it sucks.
So the question is, are you an order taker? Or do you have a fiduciary obligation to do what it takes to achieve the goals of your client? Because if you're selling cheeseburgers and fries, you can sit in a window like this until somebody drives up the drive-through and go, what would you like? That's called an order taker. If you're an order taker in real estate, you're out of business. You just don't know it yet. You're on the slide. And if you're honest with yourself right now, you probably look at the mirror and go, things are not good right now. Momentum is one more hit and I'm out. My credit card's getting maxed. Couple more months, I'm going to jail for not paying child support. My truck's gonna get repoed. My house is, I'm 2 months behind on my house payment. I've been there, I've been bankrupt twice. I had a van repossessed with my kids and took it to the park. I had another one, I threw the keys to a dealer. I've been there, man, it sucks. I slept on a couch for 2 years. It's all good.
So, I work with Daryl with People's Bank and we had a financial meeting yesterday and he said, there's 30 lenders in our company and 23 of them got laid off today.
Yeah, we're on a slide. So here's the good news on the slide.
Yes.
Be part of the 5%. Nobody showed up this weekend. That's like the keys to the kingdom. They left the front doors open. Now, are there amazing real estate agents that weren't there? Yes, don't get me wrong. Of course there are. There's amazing realtors in our company that weren't there. Of course there are. But I'm talking about the masses that weren't there that aren't doing business deals. They're not doing a lot of deals.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to get to, again, thank you, Justin. What did it do to you emotionally, Nicole? Like I could have, how could I have,
see it.
how could I have moved you emotionally before with words? Or how would you describe it to somebody else to get them more excited?
Well,
I don't know, maybe I have not the best take on it. I don't know if you could say the right thing to change somebody's mind. I think you have to live like a certain level to inspire people to either choose to get out of their comfort zone or like live in courage for a while, take that leap. Cause you're either like, if you have a crappy mindset as a realtor, of like, oh, I suck, or look at them, they have a listing and I didn't get it, I'm gonna be ashamed to not go, or whatever it is. Like, you can either prove yourself right, or you can prove yourself wrong, and you can put in the work and prove yourself wrong every day to like, I can fucking do this, or you can just keep proving it right by sitting at home and bitching, I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it is true because it's a hard thing to get people, you said something very profound there. They gotta want something more than they want to stay the same. And motivation and inspiration are very different, right? I mean,
Motivation's garbage, it's fleeting.
motivation is fleeting, yeah. It's like, let's go. Oh,
Yeah,
I get you going for a minute and then you go home.
yep.
Inspiration comes from within. Like, what is your inspiration? And there are some people that have a lot of reasons for inspiration. Once you find that, then you start seeing the wins. And you see the wins through the losses. You have to lose to win. You have to break down your muscles to build them back up. If I tried to run a marathon today, I would see you at Central Washington Hospital in about 20 minutes. This would not be good. There'd be fractures involved. Probably fall, scabs, yeah. But if I could walk to I could maybe walk to McDonald's and try not to buy a Big Mac and then walk back and get some protein and get in shape. But it has to start where it's not like flamboyant. I can't be the king of the hill in the first day. So I think maybe there's something there that you do feel, and people do feel intimidated about the unknown, or like Fletcher Ellingson, the need for certainty is a human condition. And we've been programmed to go dot to dot to dot because it's safe. But that's in essence instant gratification. And the problem with that concept of dot to dot to dot in life, that certainty, is that instant gratification assassinates delayed gratification. And delayed gratification is where achievement and fulfillment lives. That's where you run the marathon, you're like, I feel amazing, because I never thought in a million years, 6 months ago, I could run a marathon. Or a 5K, or I need to lose 20 pounds. I haven't been able to lose 20 pounds my whole life. Well, 5 months later, if you do the work, you could lose 20 pounds. But it's hard. It's so hard, because here's the other thing, when you set those goals so big, like I'm gonna take Chelan Market. And then you do something that's contrary to that, now you feel like a failure. Because, oh, I had screw this then. I ate a cookie. There goes the diet. Right. So you beat yourself up, right? That's negative self-talk. So what do? You go back to dot, where at least you're safe. It's boring and it's never fulfilling. It's where addiction lives. It's where all the bad things live, because it's instant. And it kills all the good things. Now, the question I'm trying to get to is like, I can't give up on people. So I can't believe that words alone won't inspire people. Even if I just get you motivated to go to one weekend, then it catches on like wildfire. You know, so as we talk and as we think, what we want to do as we move forward is share this with more people. Share this to what you said, Sarah. I think this isn't about condos. This is about hundreds of millions of dollars in business that is available to you and you. It's available to every real estate broker in North Central Washington. But isn't it weird? You would have thought real estate brokers were the Crips and the Bloods in the 80s, gang banging, like Crips down at you, Bloods, it's like, you better not get my turf. Like we can't cross the bridge or something, somebody's gonna kill us. It's a weird deal. If you think about it, look at the numbers.
It is.
There's not that many people doing this, a handful. And I'm like, what? Leavenworth has hundreds of millions of dollars in deals a year. Like, let's go get it.
Yeah.
I told this to somebody, I think they told me, I don't remember who it was. Maybe it was when you got, I can't remember. I go, oh yeah, it's a long ways. It's that shitty drive. You gotta drive up that mighty Columbia River. 45 minutes to make $10,000. That makes a lot of sense to me. I wouldn't drive either.
Oh, dude.
Like, it's. I don't know. So I'm excited. I hope you can tell, and I'm passionate because you guys feel it.
Yeah.
What would you say? Since, you're from Chelan, but so you have a unique perspective of like, well, Willie's from Chelan, right? So you knew a little bit more about it. You go there with your father-in-law a lot. But tell me the difference between, even though you had that knowledge of what you thought you knew versus now.
We had a really good conversation the other day, and it was like, it's really about, like, you're making history, and nobody can take that away from you, being a part of this. And, I think everybody here is very open to, like, sharing that information to everybody else, so they can be a part of that history too, because it's not about like, oh, you got that person and now I'm gonna be pissed off and not fucking do my work because you got that person. No, it's like, we wanna share it and like do it together and like be a big fucking gung ho family and, go after what we're supposed to go after. Like, I'm really excited. I'm really, really excited. And like, knowing it was a different part of Chelan that like, you don't see on a day-to-day basis. I mean, you do see it, like you go out on the boat, you see it, but it's like, it was different, like being there and like being active in it. I guess I didn't have that perspective before that I do now.
Well,
Yeah.
can I piggyback off something she's kind of talking to? One other thing that I thought was like really cool, and I didn't realize this, but obviously Sydney does a lot of work in Leavenworth. But because Chelan is like it's like a different culture,
It is
a different atmosphere.
Yeah.
If I wasn't like a part of this at all, and I tried to have a client who like lives on the west side who wanted to buy a vacation home in Chelan, I wouldn't know how to have that, like, let's buy you your dream. Like, it's a different energy and conversation that you're gonna have with them versus like a first-time home buyer in Wenatchee. That's like serious, you gotta look at numbers, you gotta look at like predictability of like, okay, this roof could go bad in 5 years, like you gotta be ready. Like, it's a different conversation, and if you don't have that way of conversing with a different person, like it's
It's
different.
hard. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
hard.
and if without this weekend, I would not have had that
I
at
think-
all. But now, like, now I'm
guys did
prepared to
great.
even do something in Leavenworth,
Sorry.
All right, see you, Skip. Thanks for coming up to that. That was cool.
Good job for all of you guys. I mean, everybody in this room. I'm super impressed.
Thanks, Skip.
Thank you.
I think she.
Well, and the reason you have it now is because you were able to just close your eyes and walk forward and not have dot to dots. Didn't worry about, what if I don't get a deal? Or what about the referral fee to Frontline? Was it working now? Now the referral fee is irrelevant, huh? 50% of a shitload's a shitload. 100% of nothing is nothing. And so it's like, it's one of those things I'll tell sellers, they'll be like, your commission is the same it's that same scarcity mindset as sellers have, right? Because they don't know what they don't know. So it's our job to convince them that our value proposition is there. So somebody will tell me, oh, what's your commission? Say 5% or something. Whoa.
Yeah.
I'll say, wait a minute. What if I told you that there's some things that I do that are different? I'm not just an order taker. So before that question comes to you, like, what's your commission? Maybe a better question would be, how fast are you gonna sell my house? How much are you gonna sell my house for? And are you gonna keep me out of prison for the next 3 generations? And then I could say, if your house is worth 500 grand, if I said, I'll tell you what, if your house is worth 500 grand and I could get you $1 million, would you pay me 300 grand? Yeah, because you just made a net 200 grand. You just made 700 grand for your house. You paid me 300. See my point? So is 1%, 2% really the question you're asking? Or is it really about my value proposition? How damn talented am I? And what makes me different than everybody else?
Yeah.
When you can go into it with confidence,
Mm-hmm.
and the confidence, Jeff made a good point. The confidence can't just be talk. Sometimes you have to write $10,000 checks and gamble. Sometimes you have to do open houses strictly to do open houses. And trust in the process, not the outcome. I'm just gonna jog today. It sucks because it's cold.
We got an appointment.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. Really appreciate you
Thanks
coming.
for entering.
Good luck,
Thanks
good
for
listening.
Yeah,
Get
good luck.
So with that in mind, now is the time to again remind everybody that it's never too late. There's hundreds of millions of dollars in deals.
Yeah.
This is simply a conduit.
Mhm.
This is simply a place for a minute, but there's gonna be another place. And then there's gonna be another place. And then there's gonna be another place. I sent you a video that I did 9 years ago.
We
kid,
watched
wasn't
that together.
Suit jacket on.
Yeah, I was like, I've never seen a suit.
Yeah.
I can't
What?
imagine.
You
that.
look like Mr.
And
Clay.
you sound
Was it a
different now
suit
that your
with
nose
like
got
boots
done.
on?
Yeah, you definitely sound different now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You're a lot more.
Too much fist fighting back then. Do you need those 3 times really what for strong? Didn't know that. No wonder I can't breathe. Alright, whatever. So I'm happy that you guys were there to experience the faith. Now, when you start hearing these buzzwords like faith or fear, you can't have both. Abundant mindset, not scarcity mindset. So when your programming kicks in, because it's all programmed, we're all programmed. And then we get to a place where we're only thinking, to your point, about our limiting beliefs. We're only thinking about certainty. That's the habit. So once you decide that the brain is no longer in charge, that it's just an organ, and whatever you want to call it, your consciousness, your soul, but it's not your brain. Your brain's been on autopilot. How do you think they take an infantry person and get them into BUDS training and turn them into a Navy SEAL? They break them down and build them up. Because they've been programmed to be average. Real estate brokers have been programmed to be average. My quote that I use for me is 2 things when I wake up in the morning. This isn't a fucking negotiation. That's what I tell my brain. Because my brain will tell me every single reason why not to get out of bed at 3 o'clock in the morning.
But it's warm. Yeah, I'm tired.
Yeah, every single reason why not to work out, every single reason why I do. Like, my brain is so good at it that I have to first start the conversation with my brain by realizing it's not me. It's the habits that I have. So I've said this in a fucking negotiation, by the way. And I put that on my mirror. Not a negotiation. Okay, that's the first step, because once you're there, now you can make the next decisions like faith, not fear. Yeah. Like, hey man, on Saturday, I'm going to my best friend's funeral, who was retired for 3 years and died in his sleep. That shit ain't happening to me. I'm gonna live strong. I'd rather fail every day of the week, couch surf with all you people, you know, and take the link before I'm gonna be average. Anything but average is the second thing I say to myself. Anything but average. And once you start doing that, just those 2 things, it's not a negotiation, anything but average. You don't have to be the GOAT, the greatest of all time in one day. You just have to do something today that gets you just a little bit closer to what you want. Remember what I said? Everybody knows what they want. They're just not sure what they're willing to sacrifice to get it. So ask yourself and all the people that you talk to that you're trying to help, because the more people you help, the more money you will make. And I'm not talking about buyers and sellers. I'm talking about your colleagues, your mortgage brokers. Keisha, help people with abundant mindset and you will make more money. It will come. The money will come. I promise. But you have to have faith. So I can't dot that for you.
I guess a lot of people I feel like aren't humble enough to have all the answers too.
You have to be super humble. If you're not, life will do it for you. I promise. I've been there a few times, like every day. I keep thinking they're protein books. They're not. Yesenia, can you hear me? Are you at
I
work?
can hear you.
What do you have to think? What do you have to say?
Well, because you were looking for words that you could possibly use to some of the agents that weren't there. When Brooke gave me a ride Saturday, I was thinking about just messaging her and telling her, you know what, Brooke, this is not for me. I don't know what I was thinking. Like, I'm in over my head. Just because of that, first, it was my first time meeting you guys, really. you know, when the training started, meeting you, meeting Sydney, meeting Estella, Nicole, Justin. And so it was kind of like, you know, well, I just told myself, like, I gotta start somewhere, you know, and I like friendly faces. I like to make connections because I feel like that makes me feel it gives me a gauge like, okay, these people know what they're doing and I want to be like them. So I want to surround myself with them, kind of like a iron sharpens iron mindset. So I'm like, these people are really successful. So like I'm, you know, if I'm here for, you know, if I my biggest takeaway is just, you know, having lunch with them, or I could, you know, learn a lot. So I just, you know, kind of piggybacked on your mindset, like having fear versus faith. To me, I just had faith and it was easier to do that because, like, first and foremost, like I have faith, like I'm a Christian woman. So, like, faith, you know, I give it out generously. But I also wanted to have faith in myself, too, just because, you know, like I thought, like, why not me? Like, why can't I give that example to my kids to, like, you know, think of something not only can only these people have, but like, why can't I sell homes? You know, why can't I
Yeah, that's
do that? So
like,
yeah, that was a big thing, you know, for me just to be like, you know, what could have someone told me differently is just to like believe in yourself, like, hey, we have like just act, you know, kind of like standing on your shoulders, you know, like all the work that you put into from like your from the beginning of your career of real estate. I feel like I'm standing on your shoulders, I'm standing on Sydney's shoulders, I'm standing on Estella's shoulders, Sarah's, like you guys like, you know, whenever I ask questions, you guys are just so helpful. So I feel like I'm not a brand new agent, I'm an agent with like so many shoulders I'm already standing on, you know, like I'm like feel like I'm light years ahead of people. And, you know, just getting some messages from some of the brokers in town asking about the event and they're just like, holy cow, like you just got your license, you know, you just started like 2 months ago and look at you now. I'm like, I'm really not doing anything like crazy, but thanks, you know. So it
well, you
was
had that, well, you said right out of the gates when you were talking, and I appreciate everything you said, because it's like you're reading out of the red book. Build the business on the shoulders of the giants that have walked before you. I mean, that's in the red book that Gary Keller wrote. But you said in the beginning, when you were thinking about calling Brooke and just backing out, right then you said this isn't a negotiation. You just said it differently, but you had to tell yourself that your brain that wanted to stop because of fear and intimidation and insecurity and it's all this, you had all the excuses in the world that would have been valid to not do it. And you said, this is not a negotiation. That's what you did. This is not a negotiation. I am going to be in charge of my life. That's what purposeful thinking means. Intentional thoughts, what you just had, and you had fear over faith. We had faith over fear. So it's like, that's, and now look at you. 2 days later, you're a rock star.
right. And I feel like now I just have like so much more confidence. And I feel like I stole a little bit of that, you know, from my nursing when COVID first broke out. We didn't know what we were getting into. And when people like, you know, these travel agencies were offering, like, it didn't even seem real, like, like crazy amount of money to work in different states and travel every 3 months. And I'm just like, that must be nice for people who can do that. But I just threw my name in the hat and kind of, you know, said a little prayer and like fast forward 3 years, like my kids got to experience things and I got to experience things we've never experienced. So like that's where I feel like I found the most growth, you know, for myself, like in my personal life, in my work life. It was like, man, I really grew like light years when I got really uncomfortable and like I fell a couple times, but like, you know, continually getting back up. I feel like just, you know, using that same mindset when I have doubts now in regards to real estate, just like, nope, like, remember this is, if you feel uncomfortable, just keep going.
Well, the good news is when you're uncomfortable, you're making progress. And when you're comfortable, you're stagnant. You either
Right.
go forward or you're not. My dad used to say to me, it's very difficult to go forward, Russ, when you're standing still. And you'll never have arrows in your ass if you're not in the lead. So, Brooke Day, are you there, Brooke?
She's at work, so I don't know if she just has this in the background.
And you know what I thought was cool is Yesenia is a nurse. Brooke Day works at FedEx. Blanca works for a law firm. I mean, that takes a lot of maneuvering to make this job happen too. And that's an example of, I'm gonna sacrifice in order to achieve what I want. So anyway, I think I've harped on it, but I want to basically leave you with like, when this is just an example, these 2 days were just an example. It has nothing to do with the condominiums, it has nothing to do with Lake Chelan. It's just an example of 7 or 8 people that decided to conquer their fear of insecurity and stopped listening to their negative self-talk and just went for it. Wayne Gretzky, everybody know who Wayne Gretzky is? His nickname was the Great One. It's a pretty badass nickname. They think he might be one of the greatest hockey players of all time, right? There's a famous quote that says, "You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Time on task over time, you will fail. You will feel embarrassed. You will feel insecure. You will be belittled. You will be made fun of. Your family will ask you, why don't you get a real job?" All of these things will happen on your way to achievement. Sounds fun, doesn't it? No, it's not that fun. Uncomfortable means uncomfortable. When they say get comfortable being uncomfortable, well, that's easy to say because it's not uncomfortable where I'm at right now. Go to the gym. It's hard. It sucks. Yeah, it's hard. Everything in life that you will find that will get you to what you want in life is kind of suck, but you got to pick your suck, because being average sucks too. Being broke sucks too. Being an arrogant ass sucks too. Choose your heart, pick your suck. And when you do, and then you find some alignment in people that are like themselves, now you have that energy to pick you up when you're down. Now you have friends that you can reach out to. So what I'm going to ask you guys to do that have had an awakening, and that's what I think has happened, pick up some of your agents in this company that are down. Help them. Be the bigger person. Invite them to go see Chelan. Help them. And then we take Chelan. We take Leavenworth. We take Wenatchee. Because right now, everybody's playing defense. I don't do that. I'm fucking done playing defense. I'm going to go win instead of try not to lose. I'm going to take it all. You guys want to come with me?
Sure.
It's a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
That's all I got. Thank
Side
you.
note,
Thank you.
there's cute little baskets from April Brown that has their snacks. Even if you don't have children, there's snacks. So if you guys haven't taken one.
That's good for the
And
beach.
there's sunflowers.